The battle was never meant to break you, it was meant to build you. Every trial, every sleepless night, every tear that fell from your eyes had a divine purpose. You may have thought that the pain you were facing was proof that God had forgotten you, but in reality, it was proof that He was preparing you. The fire you walked through wasn't to destroy you, it was to refine you. You were being shaped for something greater, molded into the person God needs you to be for the blessings He's about to release. You see, when God allows hardship, He's not punishing you. He's strengthening your spiritual muscles, stretching your faith, and training your endurance for the weight of the destiny that's coming. The higher the calling, the deeper the crushing. The more powerful the anointing, the stronger the testing. Think about it. No warrior becomes strong without battle. No diamond shines without pressure, and no faith grows without being tested. God saw your potential long before you did. He knew you had something inside you that pain could unlock, something that ease never could. So while you were questioning why things were so hard, heaven was declaring they're ready for more. The storm didn't come to destroy you, it came to reveal what was already within you. You discovered courage when you should have crumbled. You found faith when you had nothing left to hold on to. You stood when everything in you said, sit down and give up. That wasn't luck. That was the strength God was building inside you through the struggle. Every setback, every betrayal, every closed door was a tool in the hands of a loving Father. He allowed the pain because He knew it would produce perseverance. He allowed the disappointment because it would build character. He allowed the silence because it would deepen your trust. While others saw you breaking, God saw you becoming. He saw your tears, but He also saw your growth. He saw your pain, but He also saw your persistence. You didn't realize it, but in those moments when you thought you were falling apart, God was actually piecing you together for something far greater. And now, you're not the same person who entered the storm. You've been purified by fire, you've been humbled by hardship, you've been prepared for promotion. The lessons you've learned in pain will become the wisdom you use in purpose. The strength you built in the wilderness will carry you into your promised land. You had to be broken in order to be rebuilt correctly. God didn't want you to rely on your own strength. He wanted you to depend fully on His. That's why He stripped away what you thought you needed, only to show you that all you truly needed was Him. So stop resenting the process. That battle was your training ground. That heartbreak was your refining fire. That loss was your spiritual classroom. It didn't come to kill you. It came to equip you. Every scar is a reminder that you survived something that was meant to take you out, and yet, here you are still standing, still believing, still holding on to faith. That's not weakness, that's strength. That's power, that's purpose. You have been through too much to doubt that God has a plan. You didn't come this far to break. You came this far to be built. Now, when the blessing comes, you'll handle it differently because you've been through the fire and survived. You'll appreciate peace because you've tasted pain. You'll value provision because you've known lack. You'll recognize God's hand because you've seen His faithfulness when no one else was there. The same God who allowed the storm is the same God who will bring you into still waters. You may not understand it all now, but soon you'll look back and say, it was good that I was afflicted because it built me into who I am today. God never wastes pain. He never allows you to struggle without purpose. The battle was necessary because before He elevates you, He equips you. And the only way to build unshakable faith is to walk through seasons that test it. The battle didn't break you. It built you for the blessing that's about to unfold. You are stepping into a season where everything that once felt confusing will begin to make sense. The pain you endured, the doors that slammed shut, the prayers that seemed unanswered, all of it was leading you to this very moment. God was not ignoring you. He was arranging something greater behind the scenes. What looked like a delay was divine protection. What seemed like rejection was actually redirection. You see, sometimes God has to stop what you think you want in order to give you what you truly need. He had to close certain doors because He knew they would have destroyed you if they remained open. He had to remove certain people because they couldn't go where He's taking you. You may not have understood it then, but one day you'll look back and realize that everything was working in your favor, even when it didn't feel like it. This is what happens when God is preparing a turnaround. He works silently, strategically, and supernaturally. He doesn't always announce His moves, but when He finishes, it will be clear that only He could have done it. You might have been crying in the dark, but God was already working in the light. You might have been pleading for a way out, but God was preparing a way through. When you were asking why, He was saying wait, because He knew what was coming next would make sense of everything you lost. God never wastes your waiting. The silence was not a sign of abandonment. It was the stillness before your breakthrough. You are about to see the reason for every delay. The doors that were once locked will open with ease. The situations that once frustrated you will suddenly align in your favor. The people who once ignored you will now have to watch as God elevates you in plain sight. He's not just restoring what you lost, He's upgrading it. That's why you couldn't force it before. He wasn't trying to give you back what was taken. He was trying to give you something far better. You thought the loss was permanent, but it was only the setup for His restoration. What's coming won't even compare to what was lost, because God's turnaround always exceeds expectations. This is the moment where you must choose trust over fear. Even when you can't trace His hand, trust His heart. The God who carried you through the wilderness will bring you to your promised land. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. You're not being buried. You're being planted. The soil of struggle is where the seeds of greatness take root. What felt like an ending was actually the beginning of something divine. The very ground that looked like a grave will soon become the ground of your growth. God's turnaround often begins at the moment you think it's over. So don't give up now. The pressure you feel is the sign that something is shifting. Heaven is moving in your favor even if you can't see it yet. The walls are about to fall. The chains are about to break. The storm is about to clear. God is not late. He's right on time. His turnaround will not just change your situation. It will transform your life. You will go from overlooked to chosen, from broken to blessed, from waiting to walking in victory. Every tear will make sense. Every disappointment will be redeemed. Every prayer you thought was forgotten will come back as a blessing you never saw coming. When God decides to turn it around, He does it suddenly. One moment of His favor can undo years of struggle. One divine connection can shift your destiny overnight. One word from God can change everything. So stand firm, stay faithful, and keep believing. The night season is ending, and the dawn of breakthrough is here. God's turnaround isn't coming. It's already in motion. And when it manifests, you'll realize that every delay, every detour, every dark valley was only preparing you for the light that's about to flood your life. God hasn't forgotten you. He's about to surprise you. There comes a moment when God removes everything that was holding you back, your comfort, your plans, your illusions of control, and you find yourself standing in a place of total surrender. It's in that sacred place of brokenness where His power is made perfect. You see, God doesn't bless pride, He blesses dependence. He allows certain storms not to destroy you, but to strip away everything that was keeping you from fully trusting Him. You might have lost people, opportunities, or even strength. But what you didn't lose was your purpose. The pruning you've endured wasn't punishment, it was preparation. God had to remove what was temporary so He could replace it with what was eternal. The very thing that felt like loss was actually divine alignment. When God begins to remove your crutches, He's calling you to stand in faith. He wants you to stop relying on what's comfortable and start relying on what's divine. Because your faith only grows when your control ends. Think about it. When everything was easy, you didn't need to trust. You could depend on yourself. But when everything fell apart, when you had no one else to lean on, that's when you discovered that God was your foundation all along. That's when you realize that what you lost externally could never compare to what you were gaining spiritually. He was showing you that His presence is your greatest possession. This is why God often isolates you before He elevates you. He will pull you away from distractions, separate you from people who don't understand your calling, and place you in an environment where all you can do is listen to His voice. It may feel lonely, but that's because He's teaching you how to hear Him clearly. He's preparing your spirit for the weight of the blessing that's coming. God cannot place a heavy anointing on an unstable foundation. So He builds your strength through silence, your endurance through waiting, and your wisdom through warfare. Every tear you've cried in this season has watered the soil of your next miracle. You might not understand it now, but you're going to thank God for what didn't work out. You're going to thank Him for the times He said no, for the times He delayed the answer, for the people He removed, for the closed doors that forced you to look up instead of around. Because if He had allowed everything you wanted, you would have settled for less than His best. The delay wasn't denial, it was development. God was molding your heart, purifying your motives, and refining your vision. He wasn't trying to punish you, He was protecting you from premature blessings that could have crushed you. So don't despise the season of testing. Don't let the silence make you doubt His promise. God is doing His deepest work in the moments when you feel most forgotten. You are not losing, you are being positioned. Every setback is actually a setup for divine promotion. Every disappointment is an appointment with destiny. What you think is breaking you is actually building you. When you've lost everything else and all you have left is faith, that's when God moves the most. Because when you reach the end of yourself, that's where the power of God begins. Hold on, because what's coming next will make sense of everything you've been through. You will soon see that the pain had a purpose, that the struggle had strategy, and that the fire that tried to consume you actually refined you. God hasn't forgotten your faithfulness. He saw every time you kept going when you wanted to quit, every prayer you prayed through tears, every moment you trusted Him even when nothing made sense. And now, He's about to reward that faith. The same God who allowed the storm is the same God who will command it to stop. You're stepping into restoration, strength, and supernatural favor. What was once broken will become the testimony of your breakthrough. When God declares that the end of your tough time has arrived, it doesn't mean that everything will suddenly become easy. It means that everything will begin to make sense. The pain you endured, the waiting you hated, the tears you shed, they were all chapters in a divine story written to shape you, not break you. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, and every moment of doubt was working behind the scenes to prepare your spirit for victory. You see, God doesn't waste suffering. Every battle you've faced has built strength inside you that ease could never produce. What was once confusion is now becoming clarity, and what once felt like loss is turning into divine redirection. God was never late. He was waiting for the perfect moment to turn your pain into purpose. There are seasons when God allows delays, not because He's forgotten you, but because He's protecting you from premature blessings. Sometimes you think you're ready for the breakthrough, but God sees that your foundation still needs fortifying. He's not trying to deny you. He's trying to make sure you can handle the weight of what's coming. The delay was divine. It was discipline, not punishment. God was stretching your patience, refining your character, and deepening your faith. Because before He promotes you publicly, He strengthens you privately. The waiting room was not a waste. It was the workshop where God built the version of you that could carry His promises without breaking under pressure. Now, the same God who allowed the storm is commanding the wind to stop. The same God who let you walk through the fire is now using that fire to refine your faith and reveal your purpose. You didn't go through all that pain just to stay in the same place. You had to be broken so He could rebuild you stronger. You had to lose some things so He could show you what's truly valuable. You had to walk alone for a season so you could learn that His presence was enough. The storm wasn't sent to destroy you. It was sent to destroy the things that were never meant to go with you into your next season. When God says the tough time is ending, it's not just an emotional relief, it's a spiritual shift. Doors begin to open that were once shut tight. People who walked away will be replaced by those divinely assigned to your purpose. Resources, favor, and opportunities will begin to locate you effortlessly because God's grace is leading the way. You won't have to chase what's already been chosen for you. The struggle made you wiser, the waiting made you stronger, and the pain made you humble. And now, those lessons are about to become the foundation for your next level. So lift your head, wipe your tears. You are standing on the edge of transformation. You're no longer fighting the same battles. You're stepping into divine recovery. The season of testing has done its work, and now the season of triumph has begun. The same valley that once broke you will become the platform where God elevates you. You're about to see restoration in every area that was attacked. God is not just ending your pain, He's redeeming your story. Everything that tried to bury you will become proof of the God who resurrects what seemed dead. The wait is over. The breakthrough is here. Your tough time didn't defeat you. It revealed that you were unshakable, chosen, and destined for greatness. When God brings you to the final stretch before your breakthrough, He begins to separate you from the noise. This is the stage where He removes distractions, detaches you from certain people, and quiets the chaos around you, not to isolate you, but to elevate you. Many can walk with you during comfort, but few can walk with you through transformation. As your tough time ends, don't be surprised if some people no longer fit where God is taking you. The very same people who were comfortable with your struggle may feel uncomfortable with your success. God knows that not everyone can handle your next level, so He cleans your circle before He blesses your table. This is divine pruning. He cuts back not to harm you, but to prepare you for greater growth. The end of your hard season often looks like loss, but in reality, it's positioning. God is not taking things away from you. He's taking things off of you that cannot go where you are destined to rise. You may find yourself feeling alone, misunderstood, or even betrayed in this moment. But that's because God is shifting your environment to match your elevation. The loneliness is not punishment, it's preparation. In that silence, God downloads vision, wisdom, and strategy. He starts speaking clearly about where He's leading you and what He's calling you to do. Many people miss their moment because they can't handle the separation phase. But remember this. When God isolates you, He's getting ready to introduce you. The next chapter of your life will not require the approval of others. It will require your obedience to Him. Don't resist the pruning, embrace it, because the people who walked away were never meant to carry the weight of your purpose. As God ends your tough time, He will also expose the motives of those around you. Those who are only connected to your weakness will fall away, and those who are meant to walk with you in strength will appear. This divine rearranging is not rejection, it's redirection. Some of the greatest blessings you will ever receive are the people God removes from your life. He's teaching you to depend on His presence, not people's validation. You will start to understand that what looked like abandonment was actually protection. The people who turned their backs on you didn't hinder you. They handed you over to destiny. This stage of separation is where clarity is born. You'll begin to see that every closed door was divine intervention. You'll realize that the people who left made room for those God has chosen to lift you higher. When you let go of what's comfortable, you make space for what's covenant. And when God sees that you're ready to walk alone if necessary, He brings you divine partnerships that align with your assignment. So don't chase what walked away. Don't grieve over what God has already ended. Your new season requires a lighter load, and every separation is proof that you're stepping into something sacred. The tough time was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to develop you into the kind of person who could stand tall in purpose without fear or compromise. So when you feel the pruning, when people drift away, when silence replaces applause, remember, God is preparing to present you. He is clearing the stage so His glory can shine through your life. You are not losing, you're being lifted. You are not forgotten, you're being refined. What you're feeling is not the end, it's the transition. God is getting ready to showcase His power through you. And when He's done, everyone who doubted you will witness what divine separation produces. Unstoppable favor, undeniable purpose, and unshakable peace. When God declares that your tough time has ended, He doesn't just stop the storm. He restores everything the storm tried to steal. This is the moment where His favor begins to rewrite the story that pain tried to erase. You will look back and realize that every setback was a setup for a greater comeback. God doesn't simply bring you out of trouble, He brings you out transformed. The same you that entered the fire is not the same you that's walking out of it. You are wiser, stronger, purer, and more rooted in faith than you've ever been before. The crushing that once hurt you has now positioned you for overflow. You cried in one season, but you're about to celebrate in the next. What was once your breaking point is about to become your break. Through moment, and no one, not even the enemy, can stop what God has already decreed over your life. When the tough time ends, God replaces your pain with purpose. He begins to reveal the why behind the waiting. The tears, the confusion, the endless nights you wondered if He heard you. All of it now makes sense. He was preparing you to handle the blessing with maturity, gratitude, and discernment. He allowed you to experience emptiness so that when He fills your life again, you'll never forget who the source truly is. You won't idolize the blessing because you learn to worship through the burden. You won't boast in success because you remember what it felt like to have nothing but faith. That's what makes restoration from God so powerful. It's not just about receiving back what you lost, but becoming the kind of person who can carry more without losing yourself. This is your season of divine reversal. Doors that once slammed shut are about to open effortlessly. Relationships that ended in pain will be replaced by connections that carry purpose. Opportunities you thought were gone forever will reappear in unexpected ways. God is turning the tables, and this time it's in your favor. The enemies who mocked your struggle will have to watch your rise, not because you sought revenge, but because God is using your victory as a testimony of His faithfulness. You won't have to explain yourself anymore. Your results will speak for you. Every scar will become a story of survival. Every tear will become a seed of triumph, and every delay will be revealed as divine design. When God restores, He multiplies. He doesn't just give you back what you lost. He gives it back pressed down, shaken together, and running over. What took years to build will take only moments to recover. Suddenly, peace returns where chaos once lived. Suddenly, joy flows where sorrow once ruled. Suddenly, the weight that held you down lifts, and you begin to walk freely into the life God promised you long ago. It's not a slow process. When restoration hits, it comes with divine acceleration. The same God who watched you endure pain in silence is now rewarding you in public. So, stand tall. Your tough time didn't end because you escaped it. It ended because you overcame it. You've passed the test, you've endured the fire, and now heaven has released the blessing. The shift has already begun. You are walking into answered prayers, divine connections, unexpected opportunities, and financial overflow. God is redeeming time, restoring purpose, and reviving everything that once felt dead. The storm tried to drown you, but it only pushed you closer to destiny. The end of your tough time is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your testimony. What's coming next will make every tear worth it. God is saying, you made it, you're ready, now watch me restore it all.